Alright, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kodash, double hands unto the apostles and the elders of great mercy that surely do well. Peace and blessing goes out to the brethren throughout the four corners of this world that push this word in all sincerity and with all diligence. Is brother Matson here from one of the great Maidstone camps in Trinidad. And then that's gonna do a lesson here based on this video here. Now, I don't know how true it may be. Most of the things that we see are rumors. Sometimes they are not. But for the most part, right now, I could say what I could say is a rumor. Anything beyond that would just be assumptions. But whether or not it is a rumor, guess what? It's gonna happen eventually. And this here is about this video here is about Trump, DJ Trump declaring martial law on the 20th of April. Now I'm gonna play this video for the man to say or explain where he heard it from.
Well, there are rumblings all over the media now that on April 20th, Trump will declare martial law, which effectively means the military takes over for the police. Free speech becomes illegal. Protests become illegal. You have to have the permission of the military to do anything. And worse than that, the commander-in-chief, Trump, can do basically anything he wants. Literally. Okay? We may be looking at the end of American democracy, and we have 13 days left. Okay, here's my point. Please prepare your family for the worst. The other rumor is that they're going to seize all the guns. So if you have a gun, you want to keep it, you might want to bury it in your backyard. Stock up on food. Please stop spending money you don't have to spend. You may need it. Okay, if he shuts everything down, you're going to need some cash. You're going to need something. Okay, please prepare your family for the worst and hope for the best. If this is just a rumor and it doesn't happen, then that's great. We're all fine. But if it does, you have 13 days to prepare. Please be ready.
Alright, so, what he said concerning what martial law is, he right, but, military taking over. You can't do anything. You need permission from them. The president holds all the power. He's absolutely correct about that. However, as for the date, I'm not too sure. Not too sure about that. And as for preparation, stock up on where you have, keep back a little cash, keep your gun. These things won't work in that time. The only way to prepare is by being part of the Lord's elect, because that is all going to be required for you to be saved. Have no other way you're going to be saved from that time. Now, as I said, don't know if this video here is accurate as for the date, but we know one day it will lead to martial law because it within the scriptures, especially in Second Esdras. Now there's I was gonna read Matthew 24 for it, but I'm gonna get the scripture real quick. Isaiah. Isaiah 33 and verse 6. It says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. See? So in that time, the preparation that they had or they made won't suffice in that time of trouble. It won't help them. So be to no avail. The Lord say, wisdom and knowledge are going to be the stability of thy times, meaning the stability in time of trouble. in time of Jacob's trouble to be exact, in that time of tribulation, as I was going to read in Matthew 24. It says in the NLT, in that day he will be your sure foundation. In what day? In the time of trouble, in the time of martial law, in the time of Jacob's trouble, in the hour of temptation. It says, providing a rich store of salvation, wisdom, and knowledge. The fear of your hour will be your treasure. You're not going to be your piggy bank, because we're going to know what to do. You're going to know to be composed. I mean, we're going to be actually mentally and spiritually prepared for those trying times. These people out here are going to bug the hell out. It says, verse 7, it says, behold, the valiant ones shall cry without, the ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. Another precept, I believe, is Micah. Let's see. Let's try weep bitterly. No, that's fine. That's right. Let's see, try Mighty Man. Let's see what I find. Subsidy, I believe is Micah. Or it could be Jeremiah as well. Let's see. If I'm mixing, I'll be precept, right? You know what? Let's jump to the next precept. We'll find it sometime. I'll post it, or I might find it in the midst of this video. Matthew 24 and verse 20. It says, but pray. So from verse 19, it says, and warn to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not, since the world began to this time, no ever shall be. And except those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And that is the time that we're leading into. As I say, martial law on the 20th of April, most likely is a rumor, but it is inevitable that it will happen in the near future, especially with the things we see happening with this trade war between China and the US, and the US and EU, the US and Canada. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen regardless of what. So the scripture is still gonna be on point. Scripture is still gonna be on point. It won't miss. As the Lord says, his words don't return unto him void. When he sent his words, they come to accomplish. He sent it to accomplish. In Luke, I believe it's Luke 19, we talk about the troops surrounding us. Luke 19, I'll start from verse 41. It says, and when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hidden from thine eyes. For the day shall come upon thee that thy enemy shall cast a trench about thee, and come pass thee round and keep thee in on every side. That was going back to 70 AD. But the same thing gonna happen in Babylon the Great. There's gonna be a more modern method where you can't leave your city, you can't leave your house. If you're going to work, you have to go to work and return back home. Because that is what martial law is basically about. You're not doing anything but all reporting to the military. Or you're doing exactly as they say. It says, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation. So they're gonna keep you in on every side. You can't leave the country just so. In order to leave the country, you need to board a flight, and they're not gonna be accessible to you. So basically, it's the same thing. It's just back then they would have come with their stakes, palisades, cast the trench around the city, and ensure that no one leaves. Now they don't need to. They just can't leave. The fuck you gonna go? You're gonna swim across the ocean. You're gonna, cross the border and go into Canada or Mexico. What are you gonna do? They can't even leave the city, as the scripture saying, 2nd Esdras, like 15 or 16. Right, 2nd Esdras 15 and 17. Start from verse 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction dread nigh. See? Sword and destruction dread nigh, and these people studying, making investments, and they're losing money on stocks, and they're losing money on the pension plans, and the children college funds, and they don't know what the fuck coming next. They don't know is that there's destruction coming next. It says, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, but still starting to go and have a merry time. When it's the next party, from all now they're studying who they're gonna play with for Carnival next year, what they're gonna do for their birthday. See that the Lord is nowhere in their plans, destruction is nowhere in their plans. Why? The scripture said they healed the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying peace, peace, when there is no peace. So these people out here think that things gonna go on hunky-dory as it was, for as long as they know it, peaceful and nice and calm and everything gonna go as a plan. But the Lord have other plans. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. When you look up the word sedition, let's look up the word sedition. Bam. Look up sedition. It says conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. Violent strife. So it's really a revolt. It's a revolt, it's a rebellion mount against the government or whoever the rulers are. Guys, get this up here. 15, right. 2nd Esdras 15 and 16. Again it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. And that's gonna come from That actually what could cause martial law, one outcome of martial law, because from the time when jobs get scarce, foods get scarce, this is the result. This is gonna be the result, and the answer gonna be martial law, because that is their way of doing things. I believe it's the Hegelian that dialectic, where they cause a problem reaction solution, basically, where they create a problem, and then get a reaction from the citizens or from the public, which is usually chaos, rioting, looting, protesting, wherever it may be, and then they bring their solution, which their solutions gonna be are always a form of control, whether it be martial law, the MOTB, which is the RFID tag, or some laws that they put in place in Congress or Parliament for wherever they dwell. It says they shall not record they're kings nor princes, so nobody gonna be able to stop them, because people are hungry. People are hungry, you already can't stop a man when he's hungry, you gotta shoot him in the back. It says on the course of the actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. Why? Because the place is gonna be run by the military, and if they say you cannot go, they cannot go. Just like any time of Corona, you had the curfews, you had boundaries, you can't go on the beach, you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't. Basically, it's the same thing, but with a more strict, things in place, enforcement in place. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Why? Again, famine, lack of bread, job. For those who lose their jobs first, gonna be the first ones to start this shit off. But they're gonna attack the ones who do have a job, who do have food, who do have money, who do have medicine. And that time you're gonna have a lot of sicknesses as well. It says, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. So, yes, there is martial law in the scriptures. There is a kind of autocratic rule that's gonna come, that is prophesied in the scriptures. This thing about democracy and democracy, they have no such thing as a democracy where people voice are heard. They have puppet masters behind these politicians and such, that actually implement their decrees, whatsoever laws they want to pass, whatsoever things they want to put in place for their way to prosper, for their enterprise, for their devices or their plans to prosper. And people go and vote with the illusion that they have a choice, but actually you don't have a choice. You have no free will nowhere around. Not with the Most High, nor with Esau. Where is it? Where is it? I was going to start with this. It says, 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 21, it says, behold, victuals shall be sold cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And that great confusion is race wars, class wars, gender war. They may be reached to that or not. The public versus the state. They have citizens warring. These men who form their militia, these ex military or ex Navy SEALs who form their militias to fight against fucking um, tyrants and them. So you're gonna have a lot of chaos, anarchy, confusion in the place. It says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So all these things that Trump doing, that is part of the script. He ain't just doing that on his own, and he talking about make America great again, and that is, this is the medicine for them to cure. No, the Lord say, she wanna feel bad with them, but she's not healed. Take balm for pain, but she's not gonna be healed. We trying to do is prolong the hegemony of the United States, but that's not gonna work. Trying to prolong it, he actually circling the drain faster. He actually killing them faster. He actually playing into the hands of the Lord by making mistake upon mistake. It says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of the famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down." Jump now, it says in verse 27, it says, "So that one man shall desire to see another, and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rock." So, how many times the scripture say there shall one man desire to see another and to hear his voice? That means people are gonna be scarce. As the scripture said, Isaiah 66, "The slain of the sword, the slain of the Lord shall be many." A lot of people are gonna die. The scripture say, "The dead shall be cast out as dung." I think I have nobody to bury, to put your body in graves, to mourn you. So, I see these videos. I mean, it'll be accurate or on point with the timeline, but guess what? It is gonna happen. All these things that we saying gonna happen. Eventually gonna happen. Maybe I think that's Isaiah 29. Let's see, Isaiah 29, Isaiah 28. 29. Where is it? Uh, 14 and 27. So I see 14 and verse 27. 14 and verse 24. It says, "The Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, Surely as I have taught, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand, that I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountain shred them under foot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from all of their children, but in the Assyrians Esau, mainly in the land of America." It says, "This is the purpose that is purpose upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all nations. For the Lord Yahweh of hosts hath purposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back?" So the Lord not gonna make any of his words Lord not gonna make any of his words as fall on the ground. It's Isaiah 55 and verse 10. It says, for as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and return not hither, and return not thither, but water the earth, and make it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So all these plagues, all the destruction, the mournings, the woes that the scripture say in Ezekiel 2 and 9 that are written in this book, it will come to pass. It have to come to pass. Hey, so with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem HaKadosh, to the apostles and the elders of the nation that surely do well. Peace and blessings unto the Akram. Stay strong, say Shalom.